Hi everybody, it's August 18th, 2025. A walk through life seems like such a peaceful statement. It seems like such an affirmation of the grandeur and the beauty of existence. And it can be that way, most definitely. We can enjoy life, we can feel at peace, we can accomplish things. But for many of us, it seems like a normal mainstay in our experience to go through stress and impedance by our own shortcomings and by our financial station in life, our racial dynamic with the rest of the world, our national leadership and the effects it has on the different classes and the different types of people with disabilities, people who are able-bodied, people who are lost, people who need support. So all of these factors and much more make up a walk through life instead of just the simple image we have of walking through life with autonomy and grace given to us by the Father. So as I was growing older and looking back on my life from my age now, I knew that definitely I was in a mental prison, even a spiritual prison, you could say. And what I've learned from that is that there is an escape. There are many routes of escape through a mental or spiritual prison. And what I've learned is, first, it starts with shakedown. Once you enter this mental or spiritual prison, it starts with a shakedown. It will cut you down from your current level of confidence. And so once you are shaken up and disoriented, you are pushed into a box. And in this box, fear is poured on top of you torrentially. Fear and doubt and guilt and paranoia are fed to you constantly until you become full and you become numb to a point. And so after this, you are in a new world that you haven't seen before. And depression sets in. And depression saps your energy. Depression saps your energy. It saps your motivation. It saps your health, your self-care, your hygiene. And you've experienced lows that you never thought were possible or that you ever thought were fair to experience in this life on earth. And so after that, you trudge on for years. There's a weight on you and you become stronger, of course, due to this extra stress and weight on you, but you are also bound to a chain that doesn't let you go too far, doesn't let you see too far, doesn't let you hope too much. And what I could say is that as life goes on, you carry this chain that's attached to this room and you drag it along as best you can. And you find people that you connect with and they can't free you. And they don't understand your emotional state and your self-doubt. They don't understand it and they can't bear it because they're carrying their own chain too. And so they leave you and it adds to it. And you meet new people and you have conversations and you realize that even though you love these people and you like them or you like being around them, you are still attached to this chain. You could maybe rise a little higher, but it's not enough to get away. And so you may start drinking and smoking cigarettes and doing other drugs or whatever, and it becomes a vicious cycle. But what I've learned how to escape that sort of mental and spiritual prison is to notice that how this prison doesn't allow you to think in extremes, going the positive direction. Once you start thinking too positive, you are almost weary of the light that comes through in those thoughts, and you're like, I don't want to upset this prison I'm in, because it's just going to clamp down on me and it's going to make me feel worse. But what I found is that that's an empty threat most of the time. You have to think in extreme measures to break out of that energy barrier that's been ensconced around you. So start thinking in extremes of your potential. Start thinking of extremes and examples that are set around you of people who succeed and excel. And it's not necessarily picturing yourself doing that at first. It's just thinking in extremes in a positive way. Asking yourself, why not? Why is this being kept from me? Who's keeping this from me? And eventually you will see that you have been conditioned to be your own prison master. You have been conditioned to shy away from light for fear of upsetting an entity that doesn't care about you either way, but just wants you under control. And so once you start thinking in extremes, you let more light in, and then hope starts planting seeds in you. And to get out of this, you realize that thinking and talking and taking in information can only get you so far. And that's where action comes through. Taking action and applying that concept of extremes to your actions in a positive direction. And so you will start acting, you will be scared at first. You will back down from challenges at first. You will back down until you start believing that you can't again, and you may be sucked back into the prison deeper. But you have to remember that life goes on, and just because you fail 100 times doesn't mean you can't fail 100 more and not get anywhere. So you have to start thinking and acting in extremes to pull yourself out of the inertia that the prison created. And beyond that, it's you and the Father, Son, Holy Spirit that tackles the rest of life and gets you out of the prison. And that's why it's important to have faith in Him, because He is the source that will fuel you. He'll fuel you so that you can break free and experience a life out of that sort of bondage. And He'll teach you wisdom through your experience and through the people that He places in your life. So if you feel like you're in a prison, it's most likely maintained by yourself under the guise of the realm of earth. So that's just the beginning of my thoughts of that, and I hope that helps. Thanks.